I'm not too sure like how long, you know, life itself will continue to keep going. When you actually sit down and think about it, how long do we really got? What are we doing nowadays that actually could, oh no, be shortening our lives? When you actually think about it, I'm on some Jaden Smith stuff. I'm trying to talk about the environment and the government political standing in which we all be real with you. I just want to see this video and I wanted to react to it. So we're gonna check out that will save your life next week. And I mean next week. If you make it that long. If we I don't know, bro.
Let's save your life today. Not long term, today. By specifically finding out what's most likely to kill you next week so you can actually avoid it. First,
Wait. Why he said that and it reminded me of like some Final Destination stuff. Because even if you did like prevent something that was supposed to kill you within that following time frame, won't death just line you up for the next one? What did he just put you in queue for the next hit? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into like the Final Destination logic of it.
let's assume that 3 million people will watch this video and that you're all among our typical viewers. You're between the ages of 15 and 35 and you're living in Western countries. We based this video on statistics specifically for your demographic and our own estimates. They're not perfect, but roughly correct. Don't worry, we might also save your life if you're older or live somewhere else. Okay, now let's gather all 3 million of you in 40 packed football stadiums. Look around. Most of you are teens and young adults. So much potential. Unfortunately, by the end of next week, 58 of you watching right now will not be alive anymore. 3,000 of you will sadly have passed in a year. That's 1 in 1,000. Or not. Today, we will save your, yes, your life by looking at the avoidable ways you might die.
Like the animation.
We'll not cover long-term things like diseases because we want to prevent your death next week. Your life consists of millions of micro-decisions, and some of you are on a path that will end soon. Can we guide you down a different path? Humans are incredibly bad at judging the real risks of life. Bad things happen to people all the time because there are so many of us. And since the news focuses so much on freak accidents, we have a completely distorted picture of what actually...
Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. Every time I go on the news, it is something sad. I'm talking about every time. Bro, not even too long ago, there was some type of threat called in all the schools. Or like 2 of the schools in the county or whatever. All the majority of the schools in the whole city. And 2 cities over, or maybe even 3 other cities, canceled. They canceled school for like, I think, a couple of days actually. I think it may have been a couple of days. I don't know. Maybe it was just that one. But a lot of crazy stuff going on, bro. You can't go on the news and just see something positive all the time.
poses a danger to us. For example, the chance any of you are going to die in a terror attack is below 0.0002%. There are super risky activities that are clearly insanely dangerous, like wingsuit flying. If all 3 million of you were to practice this sport, about 285 of you would die just next week. Then there are things that are pretty dangerous. If all of you rode a motorcycle, 35 of you would not survive next week. If you don't want this kind of risk in your life, well, don't do these things. It turns out what's most likely to kill you next week are things that feel safe, that you do all the time and are routine, things you may even be really good at. This is what we'll prevent. By far the most dangerous thing you're currently doing is driving. 8 of you will die in a car crash just next week.
Okay, wait, look though. When we talk about driving, we're talking about not just the person driving the car. We're talking about people around the people driving the car or other drivers. We're talking about people that influence just the driver and everybody else. Because a lot of times, bro, I'm not going to say I'm the safest driver, but the people around are what I'm looking at. It's not even like they're the ones I got to watch the most. Because a lot of times I can go anywhere. Somebody's cutting. I'm talking about hard cuts. No signal, nothing. Just, and you're like right on them. They don't care.
416 of you over the next year. Mostly because most of you are not aware what driving really is. You're zooming through the world in a metal torpedo at the speed of a cheetah or faster. In an average car that weighs 1.5 tons at roughly 60 kilometers an hour or 40 miles an hour, you have the mechanical energy of a piano dropped from the top of the Statue of Liberty. If you crash, this energy is released into your car and, more importantly, your body. 30% of deadly car accidents are caused by speeding, mostly because you overestimate yourself. But that will kill 2 of you next week. It's very straightforward. If you go fast, you have less time to react and only notice the danger when it's too late.
Facts.
A lot of you watching tend to go with the speed limit regularly, which saves very little time. If your destination is 20 minutes away at 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour, driving 15 kilometers an hour or 10 miles an hour faster will save less than 3 minutes.
True.
But your probability of a deadly crash increases by 60%.
Jesus.
So 2 of you may survive next week if you just tone down your speeding. This
You know, when you think about it too, that is a very, very accurate statement. And the thing is, just from the people I know, that wouldn't make much difference, because in that moment, when they're actually like stressing to get somewhere at a certain time, them 3 minutes sound like a lot. And this isn't me just talking from experience. This is me knowing some of the people around, especially in my area and others. Bro, they're gonna gas it. They're gonna take that extra 60% chance and gas it for that 3 minute save. I promise you. I promise you. If the situation is like die, they're gonna take it. And it's a sad reality, but that's what it is. And you know, sometimes, you know, depending on how you feel about it, just it can be justified. Like, you know what I mean? Rushing your wife to the hospital, depending on how you want to see it, because you can also raise the chances of you messing up, or and like, you know, something else happening between. You know, it just it really depends. It really depends.
alone would eliminate the most dangerous activity in your life. Isn't this wild? Close second is drinking alcohol and driving, causing 25% of death.
Now that's crazy. Now that's crazy. Don't ever in your life even get behind a car you over here drinking.
Crashes. In the next week, this will also kill 2 of you. You don't even need to feel drunk. You just have to have consumed enough to slow your reaction time. Even if you still feel completely in control, chances are high that you're not. Aside from being extremely illegal, it's one of the most reckless and dangerous things too many people do regularly. And it's easy to avoid. Just don't do it, ever. Taking a cab after that work event next week, even if you only had 2 drinks, might save your life.
That stuff ruin lives.
Just because you were distracted while driving, one of you will die next week. Maybe because you were eating or fumbling with the radio, but let's be real, probably because you were looking at your phone. If you drive at 60 kilometers an hour or 40 miles an hour and check your phone for just a moment, you've now crossed an entire football field, completely blind. Stop doing this and you might survive next week. Lastly, we want to have an especially frank word with the 3 of you that will die because you didn't wear a seatbelt. What an incredibly stupid way to die young.
That's crazy.
Way more of you will get into a car crash and be injured for all the same reasons.
So wait, is it a start? Oh, it's still a start? Or he just not categorize all of it? No, it's not.
And of course, often the victims of crashes are not to blame at all, and many of you watching right now will end up hurting someone else. But you now know how to reduce the chances of this happening massively. Let's move on to other deadly things that you can easily avoid. 26 of you will die by falling, or more precisely by hitting the ground in the next year, which means 1 of you will die every 2 weeks. You'd think the danger of height was not as big of a deal, but it is. Going up ladders, working on scaffolding or on a roof, and going hiking in nature is normal. But falling from a height of just 2 meters.
Wait, hold on. How often does anybody even hike? I haven't hiked in a long time. I don't think I actually ever just like my own wanting to like myself just wanting to get out hiked. And the thing is, I don't think I'm pretty sure I like it, but I think it's really just the area. I wouldn't know where to go to hike. I don't know.
Has about the same mechanical energy as a bowling ball dropped from a 7-story building. You probably wouldn't want to be hit by it, and it only gets worse the higher you go. For a fall from 5 meters, the height of a large ladder, the equivalent would be the energy of a bowling ball dropped from a 19-story building. But even just falling over can easily be fatal because your head is all the way at the top of your body. Another surprisingly dangerous thing is water. One of you will drown next week. Being in and around water is fun and doesn't seem to be a big deal, mainly for 3 reasons. You'll underestimate how dangerous a body of water is and be taken by strong currents or riptides.
Oh, GG.
You'll overestimate your swimming abilities.
Nah, hold on. Have y'all ever seen that video? Like, I literally just seen a video on Twitter earlier, bro. This is, oh my gosh. Wait, it's the dumbest one I ever seen. And if something happens to the girl, then I'm sorry. But the girl was like, she knew she was going to do something dumb. So she was like, I'm about to show you my strength. Don't worry. Don't worry, I'm about to show you my strength. There was a hole. There's like a gap in like a bridge, it looked like. So why did she go right? She put herself literally like right down the middle, right? Had her arms like, hold on, let me stand up. I'm kind of trying to show this. She had her arms, she basically in the middle of it, like this, holding herself up. Or like she was like this, and then she got down, 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 down. And then she was trying to get up, and then she just go completely down. Bumba man, that was the dumbest thing I ever seen in my life. I don't. What? This it just don't. You can't make this up. You can't make this up.
Most likely a much worse swimmer than you think. Or also sadly common, you'll go into the water drunk. Especially dangerous because you're more reckless and even more likely to be overwhelmed by a cold shock or hypothermia.
Yeah.
Harmless situations around water turn deadly so quickly that in the US, drowning is the 2nd most common cause of death by accident for kids, after, you may have guessed it, car crashes. So if you're going for a swim next week, keep this in mind. Make sure that the water is safe, assume you are at best a mediocre swimmer, and you won't die. Also, for the love of God, be careful on cruise ships. If you go overboard, you have a 60% chance of dying. Let's move on to the thing that will kill the most people.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you. If I go overboard off a cruise, I'm at that point, it's me and God. It's me and God. I can swim, I can float, but I'm being honest with myself. If I go overboard on a cruise, I don't think I'm gonna I'm gonna try my hardest to, and just float, chill. But if it's gonna be a thing in the back of my mind, and it's like, yo, I'm out here in the middle of the whatever waters. If they don't even notice I fell off the boat, yo, just gonna pack me up, bro. I'm ready. It's my time to go and hit that gulag, I promise you.
Watching this video. This one is extremely sad and very delicate because sensationalist public discussion can make it worse. It's harming yourself. Statistically, about 10 of you could die this way next week. There's something that you might not be aware of that might save your life. The majority of these deaths happen in crisis situations, usually triggered by traumatic events and extraordinary circumstances that overwhelm people and undermine their coping strategies. Studies show that suicide rarely occurs out of the blue. There are warning signs, and often suicidal thoughts and feelings can be mastered by getting professional help, for example from a crisis intervention center. Most people who survive an attempt don't try again and end up being very glad that they did survive. It was just way too much for them, and they
At that
felt desperate
moment.
and as if there was no way out.
No, that's how it
It would be
is.
so nice if someone watching this who's in a bad spot decides to get help. You matter, you really do, and the world is better with you in it. Please stay with us.
Word.
If you currently feel overwhelmed by life, seeking help is not weakness, it's strength. We've put some resources for you in the video description.
Oh, that's smart.
This also means another thing. If you have someone in your life going through a crisis, withdrawing, expressing hopelessness, or talking about this topic, even jokingly, take it seriously. Show them that they're loved and important. You personally could save a life, maybe next week already. You might never know, but worst case, you've been a true friend. Now for the final thing.
Hey, nah, bro. Nah, that was sweet, man. He's everything he just said was all facts, bro. And I ain't gonna lie to you. And it's crazy, cause most of the time you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know unless outright somebody expressed it to you. And even then, a lot of times you probably wouldn't even know how to go about handling that. And what he just said was really like the best way. I mean, showing somebody does care, it go a long way. Cause like majority of the times, or at least from what I've seen, you know, and I'm not trying to get deep into it. A lot of times people just get into that mindset because they feel like there's no point in them being where they are now. Like they only think about that temporary moment, that little moment out of the whole, you know, life. And bro, honestly, you just gotta show them. You just gotta remind them, bro. There's like good in it. There's some good in it. Y'all gotta see the good in it.
And to be honest, this will not save your life next week, but maybe this year.
Wait, what?
Cancer is sadly a real risk even for your age group and will kill 5 of you next week. The most common being thyroid, breast and testicular cancer.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I go on Google. I think I got one or the other. Cancer is not like, yo, cancer is crazy, bro. My speech.
The author of this video had cancer at the age of 32. If he'd been aware of this risk and went to regular checkups, this could have been entirely avoided. So this is also a personal, heartfelt recommendation. We collected a few resources about screenings and self-checkups in our sources for you. Check them out. At least one type of cancer is almost entirely avoidable: melanoma or skin cancer. You might be surprised how deadly this is, but as a great philosopher said, the sun is a deadly laser. It's burning your skin with the energy released from trillions of tons of plasma. The solution couldn't be simpler. Use sunscreen. It's been a while or you've been in the water. Cool, apply it again. About 9 of you will die of melanoma in the next year, so sunscreen might save your life. Okay, let's wrap up. Just by being more aware and modifying your behavior a little bit, you personally could survive next week. Dozens of all of you watching right now. Hundreds of you this year. Hopefully, you'll be able to tell us stories in the next few years of situations that almost turned really bad, but didn't because you behaved differently. And if you have people in your life that do or don't do the things we talked about today, please send them this video. It might save their lives too. Life is just the best thing, and we hope to celebrate it together for as long as possible. If you needed a nudge to seize the day, this is it. Start doing the things you want to do today. Learn through discovery by trying things yourself.
It's like a course. WVid.
Met each other, exchanged ideas, and dreamed about explosions and the end of the universe.
What?
And they made friends. And
WVid. What? Bro. So in short, what we got, right? They can save you. They can save your life literally next week. Literally next week. For sure. Off top, car accidents. car accidents, car accidents, car accidents, and bikes. Don't drive distracted. Do not drink and drive ever in no situation. I don't care who you are. You better call that Uber. You better get a friend. Yo, motorcycles, just be cautious. Whether it's you or it's the person around you, I ain't gonna lie to you. I wanted to ride. I wanted a motorcycle too, bro. I ain't gonna lie. And distracted driving also. Just being distracted on your phones, bro. Falling. It's another way. Drowning in just water. Self-harm. That's a real one. And then cancer. Oh my God. Bro. Nah, I'm gonna be honest. Videos like this, they put a lot in perspective, man. Can they really make you think? Like, life really ain't really, like, it's never forever. Like, nothing lasts forever. I got that tatted on me and everything. But, like, it just go to show. When you have, or when you, like, know somebody close, and then they're one day, gone the next, from something so, I don't know, like, regular, something so typical. Them going for a drive to a store, them going to work, them being at work, and then something happens at work, bro. That's a lot to keep in mind, bro. It can get overwhelming. I ain't gonna lie to you. But WVid, I like this. It's definitely is teaching everything it needs, to say the least. And hopefully some people learn something from this. I definitely will say, you know, especially with the self-harming and suicidal thoughts, yo, you should really try to seek help. Because I promise you, you're not the only one that's been through the situation like that. And you won't be the last. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and you just gotta hold, you gotta hang up, you gotta have hope. You gotta have hope in the end. So yeah. That's about it for that one though. That was a tough one. Jesus Christ.